104.7 The Cave, Mike the Intern on the phone with singer, songwriter, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame member. You know him from Buffalo Springfield. You know him from Poco. Richie Furay, how are you today, sir?
We're doing pretty good, getting some of this pine pollen out of my system, and so if I cough, I'm sorry, man.
No, it's all right. You're still in the Colorado area, aren't you?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's what you're dealing. I'm actually going to be flying out there this weekend to see my brother. So,
oh, cool.
A little bit further south, but I love that state nonetheless. So very excited to go out there. But besides all that, the first question I want to ask you is this: why did the Eagles keep stealing Poco's members?
Man, I'm asking that same question, man. I supplied them all my bass players.
I know, it's like, I always make that joke. I'm like, Poco is like the most incredible development baseball league team of all time. You know what I mean? And they just kept taking your guys.
Oh, man, that's the farm team for them, man.
That's awesome. But in your own right, Poco, incredible band. But Richie, you've got a new album coming out in July. Your first new record in 7 years. It's called In the Country. Tell me about it, sir.
Well, my good friend Val Garay, who I've known since Buffalo Springfield days, way back when, and became a producer in his own right, came to me and he said, "Hey, you want to make another record with me?" And I asked him, "What do you have in mind?" And he said, let's do country covers, country hits. And I got to thinking, what does he mean by that? I mean, how far back and what kind of country are you talking about? But when we put our list together, and the first song on his list was the very first song on my list, that if I could make another record or would make another record, when they were the same song by John Barry called Your Love Amazes Me, I knew we were into something.
That's awesome. And I really like the focus of some of the songs that you're going to put on this record because you're right on the money. I think it really fits into what you do and your style, but it's also something that you can kind of turn into your own, which is really cool. Also, some of the guys you've got on this, the one you just mentioned, but you got Vince Gill on here, Jason Sheff from Chicago, and then Timothy B. Schmidt, speaking of stealing your bass players, is on this record as well.
Yeah. Such a fun record to make and get some of these guys on the record. It was just really a real treat. And the songs, you mentioned a few minutes ago, we didn't want to do karaoke. We didn't want to just make the song, okay, here, let's just go in and just do another version. We did want to make them my own, and I think we really accomplished the mission in that regard.
Well, from what I've heard, I agree with that 110%. I also wanted to note that you recorded this at Blackbird Studio in Nashville. Was that trying to get you into the mindset of what you were trying to do?
Yeah, I mean, I've recorded all of my studio records since 1979 in Nashville, and when we recorded at Blackbird, it was just a fantastic studio. The people there are so wonderful. Of course, John McBride owns the studio, and he was so sweet and all, but it was a great studio, and all the players that we had on the record were just absolutely phenomenal. This was a record that actually I sang 90% of it live while the tracks were going down, which really, to me, is what I really like to do, and I've only been able to do it with Val for some reason. They had to tweak it, of course, but, I was able to, you get the feel that, everybody's doing the same thing at the same time. You're not going in and overdubbing, and so it was really cool. The whole process for making the record was just phenomenal.
I also, on that note, I mean, that's why, Beatles records are so good early on, is because it's a live take, and that's just the way it's captured. You can make the case for Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac and Mr. Wonderful. That entire album is a live take, and that's why it's not a live record, but it is. You know what I mean? And it's got that feel. You capture the room, you capture everyone, what they're doing, mistakes and all. And I think that is, in my opinion, you can overdub 1,000 tracks if you want to, but when you do it live, there's just something that captures the magic in the room. And I think you guys did a good job of that. I also noted that you still have some signed copies of this on vinyl for people if they want to buy it?
Absolutely, yes. They can get them at my website, which is richiefuray.com. So we put our signature on them.
Well, it's awesome. If you're looking to own a signed copy of this album, buy it. It'd make a great addition to your collection. Again, Richie, thank you so much for taking the time in your very, very busy schedule to call me on the show. It's a pleasure to talk with you. Been a big fan for years in everything that you've done. And congratulations on the new album coming out in July called In the Country.
Thanks, Mike.